yeah, we got a new mod, boys and girls.
Let's go ahead and open this box up. Nice. I like the way this thing's been packaged. Hardware. Looks like we got some installation instructions in there, and that is gonna do it, folks. We'll toss this box right over here. Alright, we'll grab our knife. We have to be very gentle here, not to cut the actual parts themselves. I gotta say, it's very nicely packaged. For what it is, guys, it's very nice. There we go. Let's open this bad boy up. Oh yeah. It isn't satin. I thought it was gonna be like a matte black or something. This is perfect. Wow. It's matte. I mean, it's satin. Beautiful. Oh, what do we got here? Whoa, we got some important stuff here. Not quite sure what that is. I don't know what that is, but let's get this next one out of the package here. This is gonna go perfect with the wrap, guys. This is probably this side. Look at that! There you go, mocked up already. Seems like a pretty straight fit for the most part. Lines up with the bumper. That is gonna look badass. Okay, so we know these are drivers over here. I don't wanna get these scratched up, so we'll separate them here. Should just fit right over there. That's lined up for the most part. And, oh, there you go, that's it. That's pretty much how it's gonna go. Now we also need to add in that little rubber seal that they give us on the top side of the fender flare because, well, I mean, if you didn't have vinyl, you would definitely be scratching your paint. The rear is complete, guys. Now, I've always wondered how these things stuck onto the vehicle without actually drilling into the body. And surprisingly, this thing is on there, guys. This thing is part of the bed now. It is tight. What's good about Tiger Automotive, guys, is they did give us some instructions, which is awesome. This is perfect. Not only that, guys, but they also gave us the T45 bit that we need to secure the decorative hardware. Now, this is the bit that just goes over the fender flares. They don't attach. There's no real purpose apart from just completing the look. But that's the T45, and then obviously you'll need a washer and you'll need the nut behind it to secure. That's a 1/2 inch. Right here is what I've been using. Secure that. You don't need to over tighten it, guys, just enough so that it doesn't rattle or shake. But what we need right now for the rear of the truck, guys, are these long clips right over here. These are what we're going to use. But actually, before that, we are supposed to put on these little protective stickers, basically to protect your paint when you're putting this on, because these things hold on pretty tight. But I have vinyl, so no real purpose in me using that stuff. I'm just going to put the clips directly on. We're going to go ahead and do the rears, because they are a lot easier than the fronts. We're going to start by wiping down the arch part over here. Just give it a nice clean wipe down. Once you've wiped all that stuff down, guys, you want to go ahead and pop off these two clips right down here, holding in this body trim. So next thing we're going to want to do, guys, is mock up the fender flare itself, just to make sure everything holds up fine to the body lines. For some reason, the driver's side was perfect. This one is a little odd. So once you have it mocked up in a position, you want to grab a marker or a pen or something to basically mark the holes on the arch. And then that's where we're going to install the clips provided. Another good way to know you're on the path, guys, is to line up the little divots and ridges that the fender flare is following on the body line. Like I said, a marker would probably do it. Don't use a drill bit. I'm just scratching my paint, or I'm sorry, scratching the vinyl. Probably gonna scratch the paint too. We'll set this to the side so there you can kind of see where my scratch marks were made. We'll go ahead and throw on a clip. These go in this way. Right there, might be a little. The idiot that I am, guys, I was putting this on and installing it without the hardware to cover up those holes. So I'm kind of glad I noticed that before securing this thing on there. Nice. Easy money, folks. 2 more to go. Oh, let me put on the S-clip. So the bottom part right over here, guys, you'll see an opening on the actual fender flare itself. The S-clip is going to clip onto the body panel, this portion back here, and then you have a tiny little screw that will plug that bit up, but you could also throw in one of those push clips in there. That's what I did on the opposite side. I would probably hand tighten them, guys, unless you're skillfully mastered in the art of precision. Watch me turn a righty-tighty into a righty-loosey. And there we have it. Look at that, that's on there. So I'm actually a week late into delivering this video, guys. Work stuff got in the way. Anywho, I temporarily threw on the fender flares, as in I didn't fully put on all of the hardware, and I actually ran the truck like that for like a week and a half. Actually, probably even longer than that. The driver's side was doable, it was not that bad. However, the passenger side, it's a lot bigger gap, guys. Look at this, look at that. And I was driving around like this, how embarrassing. So we'll go ahead and remove the 2 bolts back here, and then the 2 bolts on the front, and the fender should come right out. It's actually not much. Looks like dust and dirt, some dried up watermarks. That's about it. It looks like the fender flare itself took full responsibility on this one, guys, because that is just, whew. We'll have to clean that up. Now for the technical part, folks, we have the inner bracket right here for the passenger side. What you want to do now is grab your U-clips right over here and slide them into that space. That one already has it. You already have it. So on the inner bracket, you'll see these 3 bumps that have holes in them. That's your attaching points from the inner bracket to the fender of the truck. You'll see you'll have to pop off some of the bolts. I didn't take that one out, but that's where it attaches. This is where I got confused with the installation of the inner bracket, guys. I thought it was supposed to go on like this, you know, this on the outer part, but it didn't really fit and it was kind of awkward. So I didn't really think of it to go on this way. It's supposed to literally face inwards. So that kind of makes sense for the inner bracket, guys. As I said, 3 holes, you'll see them. 1 right here, vinyl's in the way, you'll see 1, 2, and 3 somewhere along those lines. You'll see them. Those are your existing hardware that you have to use again to attach it, and you're good to go. So sit rep, we have almost all the hardware in. The 2 OEMs. I'll talk about this one in a second. We have that one. That screw's tightened on. Missing one right there, and then those 2 have been secured. Look at that finish. Gap has ceased to exist, and ironically, our weaker side is now our strongest, guys. Look at that. This thing is right up against the body, as it should be. Sometimes the little U-clips that we threw on might slip out of place, or maybe they'll just you know, be stripped out or something. So here's an extra screw that I found around here. It's longer than what they gave us, and look, it slips right out. So what I did was I just drilled a new hole right next to that one. Now I made sure I reached the inner bracket too. So if you are doing this installation, guys, it would be helpful to have some drill bits, generally small ones, so that you can make holes just in case your hardware starts slipping. Threw on that screw and this thing is on there. Not going anywhere, it is tight. You might need some extra hardware, guys, so I found this in my garage, an assortment of all types of screws, and it's perfect. The passenger side has been installed, and it's perfect. Now I can't slip any fingers in. It is tight up against the body as it should be. On the driver's side, I just noticed we have the babiest gap ever. Now it's tiny, but it's a pretty long gap. So here's how to go about adjusting your fender flare to get as close as possible and minimize that gap, or completely remove that gap. Is to one, remove the hardware in the area you're working at, guys. Since our disastrous area is over here, I've removed the screw here as well as the other screw right up here. Everything else has stayed in order to hold the fender in place, because that is its spot. We just want to get a certain area to get closer to the body of the truck. You want to reach around and make sure that the inner bracket is, just to make sure you have enough of the inner bracket in order to actually drill and hit the inner bracket, because that is important, that when you drill your new hole, you're also reaching the inner bracket, guys. That is why I'm telling you to feel around and see how far you can go. Once you've determined that, you want to go ahead and with your second pair of hands, somebody push the fender flare as close as they can to the body of the truck. Just push it in, and then want to go ahead and drill a new hole next to your existing hole. Not close, but just enough distance to where it reaches the inner bracket and doesn't interfere with the existing hole there. We have secured the fender flare onto the body of the truck. Look at that, I can't even pick it up. It is on there now. So like I said, you have to drill a new hole into the inner bracket. One thing I noticed real quick, you might want to get some higher quality drill bits, because if the U-clip is there, then you're going to be spending quite a bit of time trying to get a hole through that metal clip. What I did was kind of just moved it out the way, and I attached it to the plastic of the inner bracket. Now that is still on there, guys. The inner bracket, remember, is attached to the fender pretty well, so as long as we're on the bracket, we're good. We are in business, folks. That is it. The front fender flares have been installed on the F-150, guys. It took a bit of time to figure out how to go about with the inner bracket. I thought we were supposed to drill holes in the actual fender itself, but we didn't have to. That is it, guys. The fitment of the fender flare is actually pretty amazing, guys. Not to mention, it's already satin black. My truck is satin black, so that's another big plus. That is going to do it for the TYGER Automotive pocket style fender flares for the F-150 2018 to 2020s. I will leave the link down below, guys, for 150 bucks. Very, very cool, budget friendly fender flares for your truck, guys. I was actually debating on even getting fender flares, because I know a lot of them just bulk out really badly from the truck, and it's just not for me. I wanted that neutral zone, and I think these TYGER Automotives delivered on that one, guys. Things that I learned during this installation process is, one, these things actually hold onto your truck pretty well. I was always hesitant since you're not actually drilling into the body. This thing is on there. Two, if you are going to leave it in satin black, be very careful, guys. These things scratch pretty easily. I scratched mine a few times. Very easily. Satin black, not a good thing. Speaking of which, satin black vinyl wrap, also not a good choice for a work truck. Three, pick yourself up some extra hardware, especially some drill bits, just in case you do need to do some adjusting, because these aren't exactly 100% perfect fitment. I did have to do a little bit of tweaking. You can do your own adjustments and they will look pretty nice. Next tip, guys, is to, whenever you're positioning it, is just follow the body lines. This is what I mean. That is the way to know that it is in the correct position. You'll see that the fender flares do follow that body line, guys. So you can tell these things are pretty well made. That is going to do it for the fender flare install video, guys. Three things. One, follow me on Instagram. Two, hit that subscribe button. Three, leave a like. If you have any questions in regards to maybe you're stuck on the installation for the fender flares, guys, feel free to leave a comment down below. I will help you to the best of my ability. As always, guys, I will leave the links to everything down below. With that said, guys, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace and take care.